Okay, welcome back to
Yes,
Pandesal Talks, everyone. And welcome back, Mr. Wilson Flores.
yes.
Ayan.
Hi. Let's talk about another exciting issue.
Of course, right?
Yes,
Today, specifically, no, Wilson and I finished
yes,
watching the amazing movie Quezon. Diba? Ito
yes,
is part of the Bayani trilogy of director Gerald, right? And today, Wilson, I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. Kasi maraming nagsasabi na napaka-relevant itong movie na to because it was our
yes,
past president, right? But more than
yes,
that, many say that you could still see, the political nuance of it even today in our politics, right? So
yes.
first, Mr. Wilson, what's your thoughts on the Quezon movie? Kailan ka nanood? Diba? And yeah, what's your take?
I want to tell you, aside from I watched it the first weekend that it came out on a Saturday, and I wanted to watch it, but not uh, not in a quiet theater. I want to watch it in a big theater, in a big mall to see if people were watching or not. Curious lang ako if people were watching. So I went all the way to SM North EDSA, one of the biggest malls in the Philippines. And happily, good news for Philippine cinema, it was almost full. A lot of people. So good indication siya na people are watching it. And number two, I watched it again, second time, with other people this week lang. The week after, because I was convincing some other people to watch. And they said, sige, let's go and watch. So I watched it again. It's a movie worth watching 2 times or even more. But it's a very interesting movie. In fact, Lance, I think of the 3 movies by TBA Studios, the first one is General Luna. On Philippine Heroes, I think this is the best of the 3 movies. The first one was General Luna, about General Antonio Luna. The second movie was about Gregorio del Pilar. Yung title?
Goyo?
Goyo. I think of the 3 movies, this was the most well-made, the most interesting of all. And I want to congratulate the producers led by Daphne Chu Sun. Daphne Chu recently married. She's a customer of Kamuning Bakery. I'm very impressed with the way she organized everything. She's the talented producer behind this. Very daring, very successfully done, professionally done. Everything about the movie I like, from the cinematography to the costumes to the acting to the script writing by the director and the scriptwriter. They co-wrote this, Gerald and also the actress si Karil is also our Suki customer. Si Karil Tatlong Hari has been buying pandesal from Kamuning Bakery Cafe, quietly donating it to White Cross, the orphanage in San Juan, which coincidentally was started by Quezon's First Lady, si Doña Aurora Quezon. Very good acting by Jericho, surprisingly. I know Jericho is a famous actor. I only realized he is very good in acting in this movie. In fairness to the movie, it is not only interesting, it is not only well made, it is very entertaining. Hindi siya boring. A lot of Filipino political or historical movies tend to be boring. Apologies to the makers of other movies. The Jose Rizal movie of GMA Films was very ambitious, very good objectives. Yung Jose Rizal movie. This Quezon movie is even more entertaining and more well-made. There's another movie noon about the war of Filipino revolutionaries and the Spanish soldiers. It was called Baler. I watched it. This is even better than Baler movie.
Wilson, how's the accuracy of the details researched ba?
Interesting. I think in the beginning of the movie, if people were early, if you were early in the movie, some people would enter the movie house late, di ba? In the few seconds and few minutes of the movie, it says there in the beginning, my words nakasulat. It has been written there that this is based on historical research, extensive historical research, but a few parts of the movie is fictionalized. That means it is a combination of historical facts with artistic license. I could understand how they did it. The part about the journalists is fictional, but based on true stories, based on the true patterns and the nature of the Manuel Quezon as politician. Pero the journalist, kasi you cannot tell the entire story of a person, his whole life, 60, 70 years of a person's life in 2 hours. Maybe you can do it in 5 hours or 6 hours. So they had to use some historical, artistic fiction. But accuracy, in fairness to the makers of the movie, based on my own historical research, Manuel Quezon was a talented politician but flawed in some moral aspects. He had a lot of moral compromises. He was really vain in the egoistical sense. Can you imagine, Lance, I want to ask you a question. Can you imagine if President Bongbong Marcos today or the former President Rodrigo Duterte, if the two of them created a new city, proposed new capital city for the Philippines, and under their administration, while they are still alive, they allowed or encouraged it to be named Bongbong Marcos City or Duterte City, it would create a ruckus, it would create an uproar nationwide, worldwide. Can you imagine lang Donald Trump type personality, vain, egoistical. But no matter how egoistical Donald Trump is, no matter how half of the population of USA hate him, he has not dared create a city, a new capital city in USA named Trump City. Can you imagine? So in the case of Manuel Quezon, you can see he created a city which he proposed to be the new capital city of the Philippines and allowed it. Actually, I have read stories that he encouraged it to be called Quezon City. To us now, kasi it's already 86, 87 years na. So people forgot na the circumstances. But if you were alive in 1939 and the new city was created under your presidency and its name, there's a Tagalog word for it, there's a Spanish and Filipino phrase for it, yung delicadeza, matawag nila. Mahihiya ka to even name it, to even propose it, or even to papagalitan lahat ng tao. I'm not saying he's a bad person, but it shows you that Manuel Quezon was really a flawed character. Flawed, ibig sabihin a lot of weaknesses. This was one of them. And there was a scene about people writing a check na, uy, maliit yan ganyan ba ang worth ng inaanak mo and the future of your godson? Those stories are accurate. And about arranging for some friends to buy a newspaper, I have read stories about those things. And about poker, he likes to play poker. In fairness, I'll tell you why the filmmaker Jose Javier Reyes, the very good filmmaker who is now head of the FDCP, Film Development Council of the Philippines. Yes, he's the head. Please read his movie review in the social media. His review was very positive. And also some people, it's a very good movie. It's a good wake-up call, hopefully, for the Philippines to remind us of how cynical many of our politicians before and now are. And how, unfortunately, sadly, how a lot of politicians lie talagang shamelessly. Talagang useless.
Yeah, I want to talk about one of the scenes then,
Yes,
where si General Leonard Wood, diba?
Yes.
He was writing to the US President and sabi niya, eto mga kababayan na to, eto mga Pilipino, they really like the concept of independence, but they do not even know what it means. Diba? Well, grabe, like, why is it like this shining object of independence is so alluring to these people, diba? Pero hindi naman pala nila alam. Masarap ba yan?
Yes, my personal opinion, people of our political elites, the power elite of the Philippines, the politicians, have unfortunately or sadly exploited the term independence for their own personal ambitions. I think a lot of the politicians wanted to be president. In fairness, not only Manuel Quezon, there are others. It's not only Quezon. All of them. It just so happens Quezon was more talented politically. He was more charismatic, he was more cunning, more scheming, more effective lang siya successfully politically. If it were another person, we would be discussing how controversial that person was. So I agree when you look at that. I read that Leonard Wood, in fairness to that Governor General, was a brilliant American colonizer. Ibig sabihin, his background was very good. If I'm not mistaken, he was educated in Harvard, West Point, a brilliant military leader who lost. He wanted to be president also. In fairness to the Philippines, we copied American political system, including all the negatives. We should also blame the American colonizers for teaching us many of the shenanigans, many of the corruptions of American-style politics. In fairness to Filipino leaders and the Filipino nation, in fairness to the Philippines, the Americans taught us a lot of the negative things about our political system. In fact, I hope a lot of writers, political science people, could use this Quezon movie as a starting point for discussion. What is wrong with Philippine democracy? What is wrong with American-style, textbook-style, one-man, one-vote presidential system of democracy? We are like a banana republic of South America. Many South American countries that copied American-style system of politics have ended up like the Philippines. Political corruption of horrible proportions, small elite dominating the economy, the imbalance between rich and poor is so scandalous. It's not entirely the fault of our Filipino politicians. Si Leonard Wood, don't forget, based on my readings in the past, he aspired to be president of the USA, lost in the party caucus or convention, and lost, and Consuelo de Bobo, somebody just sent it over to the Philippines to become Governor General. I think a lot of the stories in the Quezon movie is not only accurate, not only relevant, but a very good starting point for discussions about Philippine history, Philippine politics, even our colonial bondage and colonial style relationship with our former colonizer. Are we still like a colony in mentality, mindset? Are we truly independent in our foreign policy, in our treatment of the presence of foreign military bases in the Philippines? Including our presidential system, we should also debate about it. There are many proponents of parliamentary system of politics. They say it's more Asian, it's more relevant to the Philippines. Why do we have to copy everything American style, including the presence of a Senate? Why do we have a system in the Philippines where you have a parliament or Congress that is divided into two chambers? The Philippines is very small compared to USA. I think the reason the US has, they have a Senate and they have a House of Representatives, based on my readings in the past, they want to protect the smaller states from the bigger states' domination. Because America was created by creating a union of various states. So in order for the smaller states to agree to come in to the so-called United States at that time, they had to guarantee them and assure them that you smaller states with fewer populations, you will not be disadvantaged or bamboozled or bullied by the bigger states with bigger populations. So they have another Senate where all the states are represented somehow equally. And we don't have this system in the Philippines. How come the US has 50 states only with 350 million people? Philippines, we have a smaller population. Why do we have 70, 80 provinces? Why do we have a lot of... And then look at this. We have a system in the Philippines where you have a Senate and you have a Congress. And it's like gridlock politics. Look at what's happening to the US now. They could not pay their salaries. Government shutdown of the... We should have our own independent, not only foreign policy, we should create our own independent Filipino-style political democracy. And also the cynical way of running Philippine politics and all these dynasties, nepotism, this corruption. We should review our Philippine political system. Lance, look at what's happening to the Philippines today. The whole ASEAN region, all the countries, the major ASEAN countries are pulling ahead economically. We are tragically left behind economically. Sorry to our economic planners and our politicians and our government, but I do not believe we are doing well economically today, year 2025. We are not doing well economically in terms of the lives of people. People's lives are not getting better. Prices of goods are not going down. Prices of electricity has not gone down. And worse, in many economic indicators, the true economic indicators like foreign direct investments, we are lagging behind our ASEAN neighbors. In terms of tourism arrivals, I just saw a chart of tourism arrivals. We are kulelat. We are laggard. We have lost, starting last year, I noticed, a small country called Cambodia with only one famous tourist destination, Angkor Wat, and people don't even speak English as good as we do here in the Philippines. And Cambodia, I don't think they have wonderful beaches like Boracay, Bohol, Palawan, etc., Cebu. They have surpassed the Philippines already. They have surpassed us in terms of tourist arrivals last year, including this year. From January up to October, up to November, we have lost out to Cambodia in terms of tourism. We have lost out to Vietnam in terms of tourism. We have lost out to Indonesia, Singapore, a small city, Singapore. We have lost out to Thailand. We have lost out to Vietnam. Every single major ASEAN country has surpassed us in tourism, in economic development. Vietnam, a war-ravaged country, war-torn, war-ravaged before, very backward before. I've been there before. Now they have already surpassed us in every economic indicator, in per capita income, in foreign direct investments, in steel production, in exports, in tourism. Vietnam has surpassed us even in infrastructure. Do you know, in the last 3 years in the Philippines, we have not built a major modern train project in the last 3 years. Or in the last 6 years, or 10 years. Do you know about that Vietnam last year already announced they have sought the support of China to build all their high-speed trains nationwide? Can you imagine? 2-3 years from now, I don't know how many years from now, Vietnam will have high-speed modern railways across their whole country. Can you imagine? I think that would double, triple their successful tourism, their trade, their agriculture production. We are lagging behind. Why? Because we have politicians who don't know how to run the country, who are not working very hard enough to reform and improve the country, who are, based on all these corruption scandals, we have politicians obsessed or busy quarreling with each other. All the news about politics in the Philippines, unfortunately, not all, many are about how to put down. Did you see the Quezon movie about Quezon trying to use black propaganda to destroy Aguinaldo? Aguinaldo trying to destroy Quezon, Osmeña, and all these people quarreling, squabbling. That's what Philippine politics seems to be obsessed with, getting power, maintaining power, and making sure 3 years from now, 2028, it is still their political camp in power, not the other side. So you have all this political and other news seemingly anti-corruption, but is it really anti-corruption investigation, or is it trying to target the enemy or the future rival? Unfortunately, not the economic goals of this country are the priorities of our politicians.
Thank you, Wilson. I think
Yes.
one of the other things in that
Yes.
movie, diba? There was this technologist that mentioned,
Yes.
okay naman yung theme ng Quezon where it deconstructs the heroes that we see, diba? Araw-araw, it shows you a different light. Pero parang nakulangan siya. Because when they deconstructed Quezon, parang ano na? What's next, right? You are supposed to, you know, help inspire the nation. Sabi mo nga kanina, Wilson, this seems like the state of our Philippine politics today, diba? So, my question to you, diba? Did you feel the same thing? Kasi 4 out of 5 rating mo, diba? 4 out of 5 Pandesal rating mo sa movie. Ganun din ba na feel mo? Was there something lacking call to action, no? Like what Doc Lee got?
In fairness to the movie of Quezon, I think that is up to us, the audience already. When we walk out of the movie theaters, we should ask ourselves, what can we do to change the Philippine future? What can we do to change Philippine politics? I think it's also a good question. We should be inspired to do a truly new Philippine politics. Siguro that's the challenge. Maybe that's the success of the Quezon movie, to disturb you, to enrage you, to irritate us, to make us discomfort, to have us to give us discomfort, and to agitate us to want better politics. I think it's also nice to have a movie that doesn't have a fairy tale ending. Diba? Usually movies in the Philippines and fairy tales, and they live happily ever after. Unfortunately, that is not what happened in Philippine politics, and that mirrors the reality of Philippine life today. We don't have a wonderful democracy now. When you look at the Quezon movie, it showed the beginnings of what I would describe as an oligarchy. I think Philippine politics is more oligarchy than true democracy. Why do I say Philippine politics is like oligarchy? It's like democracy for political families. It's a free-for-all for the political dynasties nationwide to squabble with each other, to compete with each other electorally, politically, and via black propaganda or whatever, or populism, to gain power and maintain power. It's not true democracy. Why do I say we are not yet a true democracy? True, we have one man, one vote. True, we have elections every 3 years. True, we have presidential elections every 6 years. But is that what democracy is all about? I believe true democracy is about the masses, the middle class, the ordinary farmer and fisherman having a say in their future, having a better future, better economy. The children will continue to be farmers and fishermen, not what's happening now. Farmer and fishermen nationwide dread that their children will still be farmers. They all want to leave their barrios because it seems to be bleak life in the farming areas, fishermen. So that's not true democracy. I think the movie is okay, more than okay, because it makes us question. In fact, that viewer, that Dr. Ligot, who questioned, where's the inspiration? Where do we go from now? Actually, that's a question everyone should bring with us when we get out of the movie theater. And every day that we are alive, that we don't have a good democracy, what we have is a flawed democracy. It's a broken democracy to start with. It's not, that's one thing that people should realize. Some people blame the old Marcos, Ferdinand Marcos. Some people blame martial law simplistically. Some people blame all kinds of things. But actually, the seeds or the beginnings of our broken democracy, our flawed democracy, it's not only the flawed heroes. The structural flaws of our democracy started way back. In fact, if people have time, they have to consult the progressive professors and political science thinkers who have been complaining about our political dynasty-dominated so-called democracy. It's a democracy in form, but not in substance. Yun sa forma lang, sa itsura, and the elections every 3 years, every 6 years, they call it democracy. It's a democracy now because you have freedom of the press. But who controls the press? Who controls the media? Who controls the economy? Who controls all the structures for political power? It is not yet the democracy that we study in textbooks. Unfortunately, we are, I would describe our society as semi-feudal. Parang mestisong feudalism and democracy. We are not yet there. The people who are complaining or who are asking questions, where is the hope? Where is the hope for the Philippines? Why is the movie not showing a moment of hope at the end? Or where are the heroes who are looking for? I think the hope itself is the fact that the movie was created. The movie itself is our source of hope, is our source of inspiration. The mere fact that in this very gloomy political environment of all these non-stop corruption scandals and the lack of light at the end of the of the tunnel, there seems to be no light at the end of the tunnel in this corruption scandal now, the flood control. Many people are complaining that all these investigations allegedly will end up only convicting the engineers, the Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH officials only, maybe not even the cabinet secretary there. The former secretary maybe will not even be convicted, only the lower mga engineers only, and only the Diskaya contractors only, and a few congressmen only, and a few opposition senators only, nothing else. They expect this to be like the Agraba Commission. You were not yet born in the 1980s when the Ninoy Aquino assassination enraged the public also, enraged, angered the country. So the government created this so-called commission called Agraba Commission. They had all these long charades of public investigations. It was more open at that time. Every day they had a public report of what happened in the commission. Unlike now, it's all privately held, closed-door investigations. But at the end of the day, the convictions were all lower level, not the top generals, not General Baer, not all the top people up there. None were convicted or charged. So people expect this as part 2 again. But in this bad environment and gloomy, I want to assert that the creation of this wonderful, entertaining, thought-provoking Quezon movie itself is our source of hope, is our source of inspiration. The mere fact that these filmmakers, the movie producer, the talented director, the good writers, two co-script writers, and all the wonderful actors, actresses, and all the people behind this Quezon movie, we have to congratulate and thank them. The creation of the Quezon movie itself is our source of hope. Because look at that, the person you mentioned, Dr. Ligot, he was questioning, he was agitated, he was discomfortable and all that. That is what the art of the movie is all about. It's not a perfect movie with a perfect ending, with a feel-good ending, with a solution that is already spoon-fed to us. It's up to us to ask questions, to create our own better solutions. So the Philippines is actually not hopeless. We have good artists, we have good viewers, the audience. The people are angry with corruption now. We are now not accepting corruption as normal. That is to me good news. Kasi for decades and decades, from the time of Manuel Quezon, in fairness, corruption started all the way pa in the Tejeros Convention with the flawed first presidential election. Actually, the first presidential election that is horrible, I think, was the election of Emilio Aguinaldo versus Andres Bonifacio. It was, I think, the first presidential election within the Katipunan Revolutionary Movement. There were already siraan there. There was already talagang face-to-face black propaganda, personal insults, people threatening to cancel the whole election, saying, dinaya ako. It's still the same pattern up to now. People who lose still claim they have been cheated. And when you check the facts, there have been always truly actual cheatings happening since then up to now. So let us be not satisfied with what we have in Philippine politics. The Philippines, all of us are better, greater than our Philippine politics now. Our Philippine politics, that's the good news, I think. The good news about this flood control corruption scandal now, enraging people. Look at the Ateneo cheerleading squad and the athletes, di ba? They, during the basketball game, UAAP, they expressed protest against corruption. During this recent UST cheerleading squad, they also expressed anti-corruption message. The recent concert of Cup of Joe, the music band, the crowds were shouting anti-corruption slogans and chants. I think all of that, including the Cardinal, the Catholic Church Cardinal Ambo David. Please look at his Facebook post. I'm amazed at his Facebook post with cartoons pa, illustrations, anti-corruption complaints. All of this combined with the Quezon movie are our sources of hope.
Okay. So Wilson, I think with every movie naman, syempre may mga good feedback, pero meron ding mga naysayers and criticism, right?
Yes,
and in this case, the grandson of Manuel Quezon himself, di ba, criticized the movie. Pero actually sabi naman niya, he liked the movie. It was well researched, but he disagreed on two things. Number one is that, the production crew actually said na satire daw yung movie, which is parang hindi appropriate for a historical film. And number two, ayaw niya that Quezon, was deemed as corrupt, di ba? Meanwhile, ngayon, wala nang Quezon in electoral politics, di ba? So walang dynasty, walang corruption, right? So, I mean, what's your take on this, Wilson? Do you think that he has a say here? He has a point here, diba? And yeah, how can we go about it?
I think apologies to the grandson of Manuel Quezon, but I think I disagree with their definition of corruption. It doesn't mean that a family was not able to continue a political dynasty. That is proof of no corruption. I think there are many reasons a family might fail to have continued political dynasty. Number one, maybe they were not able to produce a lot of descendants. Kasi in fairness to Manuel Quezon, not because he did not want to be a political dynasty or the children, because he had only one son and all the children are daughters. Even that grandson talking is not born from the Quezon lineage. No, Quezon descendant siya through the mother's side, not the father's side. In our Asian tradition, even in the US, if there are not enough Bush people from the Bush family being born, so no attempts or no inclinations. I think all Philippine politicians, in general, not all, many, want their kids to be in politics. I think we have to be clear about it. I'm not against dynasties per se. I think that is a wrong perception that dynasties equal corruption. Sorry to disagree. Not all political dynasties are corrupt. Not all families without political dynasties mean you are not corrupt also. Do you see the logic? Like there are some families that might be a dynasty like 2 or 3 generations, but some of these families are outstanding, really good leaders. It doesn't mean you're out, you're bad, you're evil just because you have a dynasty. I think in the Philippines, the peculiar, infuriating phenomenon that we have in the Philippines, we have many horrible, lousy, and corrupt political dynasties. Not all. I want to say, like for example, I want to make an example. Like Sani Angara is from a political dynasty, if you define it that way. The father was Senate President. The father was Education Secretary. Now he is Education Secretary, and he was former Senator. Is it a dynasty? Possibly a dynasty in the making already. But is it bad? I don't think it's bad. Sani Angara is an outstanding leader, brilliant, educated in London School of Economics, in UP, has a clean, good record as a leader. It's not bad, I think. Like Osmeña. Osmeña family was a dynasty before the last one lost lang, si Serge Osmeña. Si Serge Osmeña is Sergio Osmeña III. It doesn't mean that family is bad. Serge Osmeña is an outstanding, used to be in politics, natalo siya, but he was a good leader. I think he was a very good leader. The grandfather was good leader, but the father is a traditional politician. So in the case of Quezon, I disagree with the grandson who said proof that they are not corrupt because they don't have a political dynasty. I think it's not logical the way it was said, because being corrupt is not just because you have a dynasty or not have a dynasty. And the reason a dynasty flourishes or not is not also because of corruption. Maybe you have less children. Maybe you have less grandchildren with the Quezon surname. So there's no Quezon dynasty. Kasi all the descendants are different surnames already. And number two, so I think we have to use logic to discuss corruption and all that. I'm not saying that Quezon is corrupt, but to say that Quezon is not corrupt because there is no Quezon senator now, there is no mayor that is Quezon, that is not logical and not based on logic and facts. So I think they should not be angry, I think, because it made Quezon more popular, more famous again. Many people in the 21st century already forgot who Quezon was, except for the non-stop use of the Quezon City name. Luckily for them, their grandfather had the ego to approve the name Quezon City, or else people would have forgotten that name Quezon.
Even yung 20 peso bill, wala na, di
Yes,
ba?
almost wala na, naging 20 peso coin or something. So I think I should look at it more positively. Quezon has become a famous name again because of the movie, because of a good, entertaining movie. Is one more thing I like about the movie, and I hope the grandchildren will agree with me. By showing the flaws of a leader, it humanizes the leader. It makes the story of Quezon more real for everyone. All of us, there's no one perfect in the world. Every leader, you point out, even Jose Rizal, every historian in the Philippines, almost all historians, deifies, idolizes the national hero Jose Rizal as if he was like God incarnate, like Jesus Christ Filipino version, nothing wrong with him, nothing, he's done no wrong. I doubt he is like that. There's no human being in the world that is perfect. I hope for the day somebody will write a real book on Jose Rizal, will do a real movie on Jose Rizal that will present him like any Juan de la Cruz, like any Tom, Dick, and Harry, with very human frailties, weaknesses, mistakes, egos, and faults, shortcomings, to make him truly a human being that we could really learn from. In fairness to Quezon, the positive things that he has done, somehow, he was able to help push forward the idea of independence, even though I want to remind everyone a very prophetic phrase that Manuel Quezon said. He would rather have a Philippines run like hell by Filipinos than a Philippines run like heaven by Americans. Unfortunately for all of us, it is happening now in the year 2025. I think we are a Philippines run like hell today by our politicians. And I want to say something maybe controversial. Alam mo, to be corrupt is not enough to condemn everyone. Most of our politicians have been corrupt since Aguinaldo time. In fairness, it's not, some people are claiming all this political patronage, corruption, the lying in politics, the black propaganda started with Manuel Quezon. I want to assert that it started with Emilio Aguinaldo time pa. And the first victims, of course, siyempre, there was Andres Bonifacio, General Luna, and all that. Very obvious. So it's not that it started in Manuel Quezon. Manuel Quezon made it acceptable. It became a tradition that is continued non-stop ever since. Because Emilio Aguinaldo, up to Manuel Quezon, there was a gap. There was a period of American era where the Americans dominated Philippine politics. So there was no chance for Filipinos to quarrel openly and be corrupt in charge of the country. So we have to learn from all these lessons. And Quezon said it very well. We have a country run like hell by Filipinos today, 2025. And I want to tell you something about corruption. I don't want to name the name of the tycoon. There was a business tycoon who recently told me, he said, there's corruption in South Korea. There's corruption in Taiwan, a lot of corruption in Taiwan. There is corruption in China. Why is the Philippines lagging behind economically when we also have corruption? There's corruption everywhere. All the politicians. Why? I'll tell you why. There was this tycoon who said this. I don't want to mention his name. He's a billionaire. And do you know what he said? What he said, in Vietnam, in South Korea, in China, you might have 10-20% corruption everywhere. For the bridges, for the roads, everything. At least you have world-class bridges. You have world-class trains. You have good highways. You have a good economy. In Vietnam, the economy is growing. Everybody's getting richer. So okay lang nakawin mo 10-20%. But in the Philippines, we have a tragedy. We have leaders who are inept, incapable of ruling the country, incapable of growing the economy or the tourism, and stealing 70 to 80%. Mayor Magalong of Baguio said the stealing in the country today is 70% of public works projects. And based on the ghost projects seen in the flood control scandal, it's 100%. That means 100% of the flood control money is totally disappeared into the pockets, into the mansions in Los Angeles and New York, into the Hermes and Louis Vuitton bags, and all the luxury, Porsche, all these cars. what are the brands of these fancy Rolls-Royce and all these Ferrari luxury cars? So that's the tragedy of the Philippines, which Manuel Quezon already predicted 100 years ago. Manuel Quezon was a prophet. Why? He knows he himself is doing all that. Not in that extreme case yet. Because what happened from the time of Manuel Quezon up to the time 2025 now, we have learned to be shameless. Makapal ang mukha ng mga politiko. We have become, there's the word impunity. There's no accountability. There has been no major big fish imprisoned and really punished in Philippine politics. What happened to South Korea? Based on my recollections, they have had 4 presidents jailed for corruption and ineptitude and incompetent shenanigans. 4 presidents of Republic of Korea or South Korea imprisoned. In China, what do they do with leaders? They shoot them. The generals, the top generals of the military, they kick them out. They don't care who you are. The agriculture minister was recently sentenced to death. The agriculture minister of China. And before, there was a Food and Drug Administration head in China, shot dead also for corruption. Governors, top leaders. What happened to the First Lady of Chairman Mao? What happened to the leader, the First Lady of Chairman Mao, si Chiang Ching? The wife of the leader of China died in prison. She was in prison in China, in South Korea, in Singapore. Lee Kuan Yew, very anti-corruption leader of Singapore. There was one cabinet minister, you can Google the name, I forgot the name of the cabinet minister. He was insinuated or accused of corruption. Very small scale compared to what the governors and mayors and senators and cabinet ministers are stealing in the Philippines. Very small case of corruption. He killed himself out of shame, suicide, because he knows he eventually will be convicted and will be imprisoned and shamed, the whole family. Can you imagine? In the Philippines, we don't have sense of shame. We flaunt pa. In the Philippines, we have corruption that we flaunt shamelessly. Many of the corrupt officials in the Philippines, you go to the country clubs, you go to the golf clubs, you go to the 5-star hotels, they're the ones who splurge 700,000 pesos in one dinner, 6.5 million pesos in 2 nights of drinking in Las Vegas. You have 50+ luxury cars in one garage, and they flaunt it via social media pa. So that is what has happened to the Philippines, which Manuel Quezon said will happen. A country, the Philippines run like hell by Filipino politicians. And that is not hopeless. We have to change. The mere fact that this Quezon movie was created and honestly created. It wasn't, alam mo, I'll tell you, I was expecting the Quezon movie to be another political, historical drama movie that is fiction, that is all praises, how great a leader is, how great saintly the heroes are. And I was pleasantly surprised. This Quezon movie is very good.
Yeah. Actually, yung sinabi ng friend nating historian, right? Ang
Yes.
Beto Campo mentioned that it might not be what you expect to see, what you've read in your history books, di ba? Pinakagwapong presidente, di ba? But it is what we need to see, no? And I'm not sure, Wilson. Yeah, tingin mo ba pag bata ka pa, high school ka pa lang, would you show them this movie?
I would show that to every children, every student. In fact, congratulations to the movie makers. If I were the government would not, because it reminds the public how bad government is. But everyone should watch the Quezon movie. It's not only good, it's also needed. I agree with Ambet Ocampo. We need to see the Quezon movie and we need to get lessons. It's a wake-up call for all of us to end the non-stop shameless corruption and ineptitude. What is worse, I could live with corrupt government. I'm okay with corrupt politicians as long as they deliver better economy, as long as they lift the people from poverty, as long as they equalize opportunities for poor people, not always take care of their cronies and their best friends, not only socialize with the elite of this country and give them favors, the whole economy throw at them and give to them. We should have even if they are corrupt, I'm okay as long as they make the lives of the people better, as long as they push pro-people reforms. Look at South Korea, look at China, look at even other countries. They have corruption, but it's tolerable corruption, not excessive. In the Philippines, we have excessive political corruption and inept, incompetent, incapable politicians running the economy and the country. That is horrible to me. That is double whammy. You have corruption plus ineptitude. What do you have? Disaster. So you can have corruption, tolerable. Sorry, people will get angry at me when I say tolerable corruption. I'm sure in terms of Christianity and moral ethics, of Confucian ethics and Christian moral values, no corruption is okay. I want to state that. No corruption is okay, even 1%. But in the real world, in our real world where you force the people to buy votes in elections, when poor people knock at your doors every day asking for tuition fee, burial fees, and all that, sometimes, I'm not saying it's okay morally, but I would tolerate corruption, minimal, not excessive. I hope we don't have excessive corruption, number one. And number two, we should have good government, not inept. Inept in Tagalog, walang kwenta, walang alam na politiko. We should have politicians who are capable, hardworking, and with a little brains naman, please. Can we please have politicians who are a little corrupt and brainier, with some intellect, with some common sense? I'd like to point out my former economics professor, Dr. Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. I've been writing my Philippine Star columns before and poking fun at her and criticizing corruption in the Arroyo government before. But in retrospect, I personally and many business people in the Philippines miss the good governance of Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Why? There was corruption in government. We cannot deny that. But there was actual good governance under Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. The economy was very well run. She knows how to run the government. She knows how to run and manipulate the levers of politics and government to deliver better lives to the masses and to the middle class. She used her political cunning, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, her high intellect and her great work ethic to push for unpopular reforms, socio-economic reforms that benefited the Filipino nation. Gloria Macapagal Arroyo was a good president in retrospect. She is, I think she is even better than Manuel Quezon. Because Manuel Quezon, I didn't see his socio-economic reforms side of his government. I've not studied it well enough yet. I'm not aware of that. He was good in politics, but in Gloria Macapagal Arroyo's turn as president, she was extremely good in politics. She was very cunning. Can you imagine winning an election against the most popular actor in Philippine entertainment industry and two famous actors? She became president when Joseph Estrada collapsed as president politically. Then she won against Fernando Poe Jr. by hook or by crook or whatever. Controversial yan, but she delivered economic and social reforms. She made the Philippine economy okay when the U.S. economy was in shambles. There was this 2008 economic crisis in America. There were also many other crises in the world. The Philippine economy was okay under Gloria Arroyo. So that is an example of you don't need a saint, incorruptible politician in Malacanang to have a good future for the country. Just tolerable corruption, not excessive, and have a hardworking, competent, intelligent leader who will make the economy grow. We cannot have the worst of both worlds. Some people want the best of both worlds. We cannot have the worst of both worlds. We cannot have corruption. And what is happening now in 2025, we have a lot of corruption. Everybody keeps saying that. Even President Bongbong Marcos is complaining of corruption. But sabi nga ng Undersecretary niya of Finance before, si Cielo Magno, I saw her video recently, how come it took the government 3 years to know there is horrible corruption? So what has happened in the past 3 years? Who is in charge of the country? He realized only corruption after 3 years. That is question mark to me. That means, what have you been doing in 3 years? I'm not against the government, but what are our leaders doing in the past 3 years? So we need competence and less corruption. I'm a realist. I'm against corruption, but I know we cannot eliminate corruption 100%. Please lessen the corruption. Please lessen the corruption to tolerable limits. Can you imagine? I'm so infuriated as a taxpayer. We pay taxes, all of us, whether you are a farmer or you are a laborer in the factory, kahit na manggagawa ka sa pabrika, everybody, lahat tayo, we pay taxes because we have the 12% VAT. Oh, one more thing. I want to suggest another totally just one, about all these taxes. 12% VAT tax, I think, is too expensive and unfair to the ordinary people. We should have higher taxes for wealthier people. I'm not very wealthy, but I'm willing to pay higher taxes. But very unfair to the ordinary worker, to the ordinary manggagawa, magsasaka, mangingisda, fisherman, farmer. Everyone, all of us are paying the same taxes, very unfair. So, and then we have corrupt government stealing everything. That is intolerable and infuriating. That's why I am grateful for this Quezon movie, for raising all these questions and thought-provoking for everyone.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Imagine that, diba? A movie got us to do a podcast and will be listened to many people, right? And maybe that's really the ripple effect, about the disturbance that we want to get from each of these historical movies.
I hope everyone in the Philippines encourage all our friends to watch the Quezon movie. It's not a perfect movie because you have only limited time, and my friend Daphne Soon has limited resources. She told me she spent a lot of money, raised funds from investors, but very well made, entertaining movie that everyone need to watch, must watch.
Okay, all right. So thank you, everyone. That's another episode of Pandesal Talks. Mr. Wilson, Lee Flores, Lance Sham. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this online show. Maraming salamat.